today's cup of coffee with Scream.
Cup of coffee.
Know that you are loved.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
And I think it's ridiculous how the advertisers have totally hijacked this amazing holiday. It goes back to St. Valentine's, and I do believe that it was a matter of, at one point, they were not allowing Christian couples to marry, and he made that possible and different things like that. But I've always used it as a day to let others know. I don't know. You should let others know that they're loved every day.
Yes, it shouldn't just be restricted to Valentine's Day.
And it's like that has, because that it has been hijacked, and we need to reclaim Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
So here on our pirate ship, happy Valentine's Day, you're loved.
Yes. Y'all are all very loved.
Absolutely. And the folks over there on BitChute, I had somebody that contacted me and they're like, you keep talking about YouTube. Well, we've been on YouTube longer, but BitChute folks, let me tell you something. We love you.
Mm-hmm.
And don't ever think that we don't. We may not talk about you as often. The reason for that is we actually get more comments and stuff over on YouTube for whatever reason. That's just still one of the main platforms. And whoever had sent me, it was sort of like, you're on BitChute, damn it. And that's okay. And I was like, you know what? You're right. We have not given those folks the recognition that they deserve.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you all.
I'm glad that BitChute exists. It is still, if you want Wild West, old school internet, be it good and be it bad.
Yeah.
That is BitChute. And
it's just part of it. And it's the goodness of it.
It is. And it's just got its own essence, and I appreciate it. I've been over on BitChute for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think all of us get stuck in a rut. And, you know, as far as talking about YouTube and different things like that.
Well, that's because YouTube is it is the biggest platform as far as video sharing.
It is. It's still, Rumble is up and coming. BitChute, I still have every bit of faith in. The problem that I have with BitChute is I cannot schedule the upload time for the videos or the release times for the videos.
Right.
I still have to go in there manually and do that, and it's a reason that it varies day by day as I try to get myself to publish the video.
Mm-hmm.
But BitChute, folks, you're loved. And whoever
loved.
It was that sent that, I don't have the screen name pulled up in front of me. Thank you. I have no problem with you calling my hand on that. I appreciated it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We try to be fair.
I find BitChute a little difficult to use at times.
It can be. It's after you do that, and they had some kind of an upgrade, probably maybe a year or so ago, and I still have to do the old BitChute thing for whatever reason. The
old BitChute thing?
It is. There's two versions of BitChute. And as far as to upload, I still have to go to the old version for whatever reason because there was a problem with me using the new version.
Yeah.
And I did contact them. Anytime that I have ever contacted tech support there, they have been helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a small team of folks. And, you know, they don't have the huge funds. But now I am one that I do support BitChute.
Mm-hmm.
Because why would I not? I use the platform. So very much I appreciate them. And I don't mind supporting platforms like that when I use them. So I got skin in the game.
Yeah.
And speaking of somebody that had skin in the game, today was a huge day. And Bobby Kennedy
got in, and he's doing his thing.
And I think
we're going to get healthy food finally.
I think that
Hopefully.
This is one of the most important Valentine's gifts. It was pre-Valentine gift that the world could have received, that America could have received.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is now the head of HHS, which I do believe that's Health and Human Services here in America. And yes, it is. I've got a little chart here. And that includes CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, NIH, National Health Institutes, or National Institute of Health, FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, and then the NIA, or NIAID, which was the National Institute of, it says Allergy and Infectious Diseases, and that's an offshoot of NIH. And the fact that you've got all these little offshoots and have to have a schematic to figure out where any and all this stuff is, that in itself is a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating.
And as Doge keeps, that is the method of the apocalypse.
Doge.
Those folks are unveiling and uncovering so much corruption and just evil.
Yeah, and it goes deep. It goes really deep, and it's insidious.
Please pray for those folks, because when you've got people in Congress that's calling for, actual harm to be brought to these people,
yeah,
those people need to be
violence.
removed. They need to be removed from office. That is not a leader. That is an activist.
Yes, they're literally calling for violence, and it's like so much for the group of peace and love. Y'all are such fucking hateful assholes.
Well, it's like petulant children. If you tell them no, then they throw a tantrum. But unfortunately, their tantrums can often result in people losing their lives. It did the other time.
It did.
And it's like those of us who were on the receiving end, the ones that were being hated, we ain't forgot that.
Mm-mm.
And some of us have very long memories. And this deal of, oh, well, just forgive and forget. No, bullshit.
No.
That is not how that works. Because if you forget, you will repeat the same mistakes.
Yes.
And
you gotta learn.
Yeah. But with Bobby Kennedy he did so much research. I mean, years and years of research about what is going on to the American people. And not only is it the vaccines and the smear campaign, which is government funded. We found that out today too.
Yeah.
As far as it was social engineering. You can learn so much on X right now. I urge each person to go on X. Just read. That's what I do all day, every day. I sit and I read and listen to things. And it's just this incredible amount. It is nerd paradise.
It is nerd paradise. I have lost my phone for quite a few days now. So it's like I've not been able to go on X. And I just flat out have not felt like going on my... I've felt like shit, so I've not been going on my computer as much either.
Yeah, I understand that. It's like today I just needed a day. Honestly, I didn't want to talk. It was nothing personal to anyone. I just needed a quiet day.
Well, that's okay, as long as it's literally, it's like if you say, hey, I'm going to take a day to myself, just leave me be for a little bit, all right?
Yeah.
People will be fine with that.
No, they won't. I found that out.
People should be fine with that.
Well, they should be, but that's not how that works a lot of times. But for my mental health, I needed a day where I just backed away from everything because I was losing my shit. When little things started to annoy me to that degree, I'm like, okay, I'm tipping. I'm tipping.
Yeah, that's how it's been today. I don't know what the fuck is been. Do you think it's also planetary stuff?
Yeah, I'm sure it's planetary stuff. I really is. I really is. I really am sure that the planetary things have to do with this. And I am so grateful for my therapist. And she told me, she said, you and that I and her husband would get along wonderfully. So.
Do what?
Yes.
What?
That I would get along very well with her husband because we have very similar schools of thought. So she gets it in stereo.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful for me because she understands. Because when you start talking about some of these things, people can look at you like you are green. It's like, what planet are you from?
Like the other day when you saw me and I was olive green.
That was totally different. That was interesting. But for those of us that have understood what happened all the way back from the AMA, yeah, I've researched since the 80s on this stuff. And because that I am one of these people that has had a chronic illness since the 80s that nobody can explain. Most people want to discount. They want to ignore it. They want to categorize it as some kind of mental something. And that I have, for almost 40 years, screamed out for help. And that the current medical whatever it is,
and it's
useless.
It is useless, and it has caused you so much harm and unneeded grief, and that's painful.
And there are millions like me.
Yes.
And there are millions others that have other chronic diseases that they have unknown causes. I mean, the fact that you do have the pesticides that have been put on everything, that they're injecting the animals with something.
Hormones.
The chemtrails. I mean, it just goes on to the point that it is maddening.
Oh, it's insidious. That's what's...
And if you ever watch, it's called Food Inc. INC. Which was a documentary style movie that was done years ago. And that how the food industry has been just... It's horrible. It is horrible. And to think that there is hope that will be reversed. It's not going to happen overnight.
No, it's not going to.
But there is hope. And that's, I mean, here in Virginia, and I don't know why. And it's like, if I am willing to pay somebody for something, why can't I have the product? And that includes as far as I think that marijuana should be legalized. Flat out. If you're an adult and you want to use the product, it's a plant.
Literally.
There are people who can benefit from that.
Well, I mean, that goes also into the same thing as like the coca leaves.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't.
But that's how people make cocaine, and cocaine is very much a...
I understand that. But it's also one of those that, you know, do we legalize everything and have like it is out in California and San Francisco and Portland and stuff where people are zombies out on the street? I don't know. There are no easy answers on some of this stuff. But I know that putting people in prison because that they have a substance abuse problem is not the answer.
It's not the answer. There needs to be like actual rehabilitation facilities that genuinely get people help.
Yes, and guess what? Bobby Kennedy understands about all that personally also because he was an addict.
So he has firsthand experience.
Absolutely.
So hopefully he can help people.
I truly believe he is another, and other people believe that he is another that God has raised up for such a time as this. But in Virginia, where you cannot, it is illegal to sell raw milk and raw milk products. Illegal. That they will go in and they will absolutely raid some of these farms. And it's happened in other states also. Because they didn't meet quote-unquote FDA standards.
Well, first of all, why does drugs have to be within the food?
Right.
Why is that categorized in
exactly.
the same thing?
It shouldn't. And that there's been rumors, and this is a rumor. This is a tinfoil hat because I don't have the documentation in front of me, but it is there. That when, as far as, and I do smoke. Do Cigarettes. I know that they are manipulating? Do I know that they are manipulating the amount of tobacco and stuff? Nicotine in the tobacco, yes, I do. But as an adult, that is my decision. But when back in, I can't remember if it was the 80s or whatever it was, because for a long time, cigarettes were advertised on TV and in magazines and everything like that. And that when all that broke and the litigation on that it was causing cancers in people, They said that some of those people then plied their trade within the food industry, preservatives, chemicals, food dyes, all this stuff.
What the fuck?
Well, because if you've got people that want to do evil and they get thwarted from doing evil in one way, they'll try to do it in another way.
Yeah, but it's just like, that's fucked.
And it's just like, kid over here very much had sensitivities to different food dyes. And it was like giving him crack.
It wasn't just me.
No, it wasn't just you, but that you're the one that I have the first-hand example.
Yeah, but it's like they're poisoning us practically. Yes. And it's like, stop it.
Yeah.
Like, that's insidious. That's disgusting. That is evil.
And I think that they had said that the population, one of the statistics that I heard in passing today, and like I said, don't take this to the bank because I don't have it in front of me, was like 60-some% of the population in America right now that has some kind of chronic illness. That they were creating diseases through the foods, which would then, as far as Big Pharma, come in, and it was this fucking insidious evil cradle to grave draw. That they make you sick, and then they make you pay the whole time that you are sick, just trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that doesn't piss you off, it should piss everybody off. If it hasn't affected you personally, I'd almost damn well guarantee you that it's affected someone that you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's affected... Shit. It's affected the majority of our family.
And that they were, as far as some of the best, the highest quality beef... I have heard that they are exporting that, importing inferior quality meats, putting something other about that as far as that it was American, which it was not. I think they've got some kind of loophole that if it's processed here in America, that it can be stated. Every food source needs to have a sticker on it. This came from wherever.
Mm-hmm. If the meat does not say... grown here in America, raised, slaughtered, packed, all that here in America, then it's not.
And so that people were getting inferior products. And, my family farmed. When I was growing up, they farmed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know we knew what the animals were being fed. We knew how they were being raised. They were being raised in a very humane way.
Yeah.
They weren't being fed garbage. They weren't being fed soybeans. Soybeans, that's a whole different can of worms as far as the xenoesters, which causes a feminization. In women, too much estrogen causes cancers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like if you look at pictures of kids today versus back in the 60s and stuff, you can see there is a severe problem.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's disgusting. The whole thing supplies, is just disgusting. It's like everything that we know of is being poisoned in some way, and it's...
And to hope... that might stop. And then the high fructose corn syrup. Oh my God. Because that it bypasses the brain's ability, that gag response, that when you've had enough, that the body's like, nope. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason with the sugar and stuff like that. If your body's had enough, it expels the sugar.
Yeah.
It doesn't do that with high fructose corn syrup.
Mm-mm.
You can tell I worked at the health food store for years when I go on this spiel. So I've done this for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And I know that even the health food store there for a long time, the owner at the time was afraid. We could not even say legally, for fear of being sued, that a herb was used for something.
What?
For real. For real. It's not FDA approved. It's not FDA tested. Guess what? a lot of the shit that the FDA has tested and approved was bogus.
Yeah.
The testing was bogus. It was bought and paid for by Big Pharma.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think that the tests are going to show? But we had to say, historically, this herb has been used for this. That, or I could hand them a book, turn to whatever page that it had the reference of the herb, because just the average person has been living under that threat of lawfare for decades.
Mm-hmm. The government was weaponized against us.
Yeah.
It no longer, at that point, they no longer worked for us.
Mm-hmm.
They enslaved us.
Right. And like I said, in Virginia, if you went and if you knew something, now if you have a cow yourself, then you can consume whatever product comes from that cow.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that if you have half ownership in a cow. But as far as if I go down the road to somebody that is milking a cow and I say, hey, will you sell me a pint of milk? If he does that, they can put his ass in jail.
What about if you gift it?
There's some people that has been doing that. It was always one of those, oh, well, you can only use this for pet consumption. So go out here to the store, buy something that is homogenized and pasteurized to where all it becomes is a breeding ground for bacteria. All the health benefits stripped totally. And it was like kid, he had chronic ear infection it's like every 6 weeks. My God, it was horrible.
It still happens sometimes.
And I took him off of milk, took him off of dairy, and the ear infections stopped. Mm-hmm. The reason I knew to do that, I didn't know to do that. I had taken him to a chiropractor. He knew to do that. Because some of the chiropractors are the ones that for years have been studying about nutrition.
Which is like, why? That's weird that were the ones studying about nutrition, because they study bones and alignment of the bones. But people say that they're quacks and all that shit. But the thing is, they're not.
They're alternative healthcare.
Yeah, that's the only reason that people consider them quacks is because they were not of the science.
Because the AMA demonized anybody that wasn't one of them. They viewed them as a threat. Mm-hmm. Same thing with acupuncture, anything. And the licensing, like reflexology and stuff like that, which is like the pressure points on your feet.
Uh-huh.
These people have to be licensed and everything like that. And the lawfare on that, because you've got these people that are just looking to try to sue somebody. That's the reason a lot of people don't even go into it.
Yeah.
That's got to stop.
It's all about money.
Because the disease here in our society right now is not just physical, it is mental and spiritual. But with this one man being confirmed.
All of it.
And it was a matter of just that hope. That hope. And all this stuff being uncovered and unveiled. And what a time to be alive.
It's an intense time.
And it just, like I said, the meme of him putting his hand on a big steak. I remember when you could get, at the store, you could get these, beef. It's what's for dinner.
Uh-huh.
They're in the 80s and the 70s and the 80s, and you had these wonderful steakhouses, and you could drive by them, and the aroma was just intoxicating. All that gone. All of it. When you go in a store and there is a piece of meat that is not even that big of a piece of meat, I've seen it at points $60-some.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous. And then they're hollering as far as, oh, well, eat healthy. Well, how are you supposed to do that? And then you've got people that it's like, oh, well, this person's overweight and that one's overweight. And they're just da-da-da. And I'm like, you don't understand. That's an external manifestation of a disease.
Mm-hmm.
That person is unwell. You've had the subsidization of bad food. That needs to stop.
Hopefully it is coming to a stop soon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a minute before we see, like, the full...
But as far as this frankenfood and the genetic engineering, I mean, you have to really read labels. And my God, some of the font on that shit is so small that you need to take a damn magnifying glass, for real, contains geoengineered product. What the hell? What is in... Be specific. Tell me what kind of fuckery is in this. Usually, I don't even buy something that says that, usually. And then when they were trying to do this push to put the bugs and stuff, fuck them and their bugs, and they can shove them up their ass.
Yeah.
The worms crawl in, the worms crawl out. And we'll not talk about Bobby Kennedy having to have the brain surgery for the worms, but anyhow.
I mean, you already mentioned it, so...
Well, he was just so matter of fact. He's like, yeah, this is a parasite.
Brain worms instead of the pinworms.
He seems to... Let me tell you something. This man has been through hell. He has been through Mordor and come out the other end. Mm-hmm. A lot of these people have. They are battle-hardened.
They are. But they're fighting. They were battle-hardened for a time such as this, so that they could fight for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just, what an incredible day. And continue to be in prayer, please. Because that is something that the forces of hell, they don't just roll over and show their belly. They are going to fight. We know that. But they are showing themselves, my God, it's just glaring. And that these people don't even realize they don't realize they're evil.
No. They full on believe that they are, some of them genuinely, and this is just also due to personal experience with friends and stuff like that, they genuinely think that they are on the side of good.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're deceived.
Yeah.
You're deceived. Not just deceived, you're deceived bigly.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And it's heartbreaking and brain breaking, but it's like, you know what? You're making your choice to believe the lies. Gonna let you do whatever it is you're doing. I'll be praying for you.
Absolutely. And that's one of those, that's what you have to do, is just sort of distance yourself. Don't cast pearls before swine.
How do y'all cut off people?
And he is having a hard time because with his little Piscean self. But when you've got somebody that has totally opposite beliefs, and it can drag you down.
Yeah. Because it's like there's a lot of shit that I want to talk about and how fucked up it is, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like I can't because I will be I'll have be combated with this shit. And so it's like, all right,
and the main thing is just to find other communities, and other outlets of people with similar views and beliefs.
It's like, it's Valentine's Day, and it's the time to not only spread love to, romantic partners, but friends as well. It's a rough one for me. But it will be alright. I'll be making new friends at some point, right?
Sure.
So.
Sure. And even as far as that, if it is a relationship that is dragging you down, whether it's a friendship, partnership, whatever it is, you need to reevaluate that. Is it worth it?
Well, it's just like my heart literally breaks for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not bad people. They're just deceived.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I know no matter what I say, it's not going to change their mind.
No.
So.
And this is where it is a matter you're just going to be strong. Sometimes it's not an easy process learning to be strong.
Oh no, it's not. It's not an easy process whatsoever. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, and I feel weak. But,
Well, and it's just, it's such an interesting thing.
And that's
on
why,
that. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say that's why I also appreciate our viewers.
Yeah.
Because they're so kind.
We have wonderful viewers. I mean, some of the most quality human beings on the planet. And they're not stupid people. If they were stupid, the stupid people do not come here. They can't keep up with the conversation, for one thing.
No.
Toss him some Kleenex. They don't understand what we're talking about. They don't hang out for long. The viewers that we have, and it's like, doesn't matter. It's a matter of quality over quantity each and every time. And it's like, I would rather have that than one of these that's got, countless numbers.
Right. And I would rather have, and as far as friends, I would rather have someone that is of value and of substance than people that are just vapid.
And fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you get people that are their authentic selves, and there are very few people that truly know their authentic selves. They've filled their world with distraction to avoid trying to figure out who the hell they are. And, and it's one of those that when you're going through that process, and like I said, when you have been through Mordor and you come out the other side and people's like, damn, you a hard ass. Yes, I lived.
Mm-hmm. It's battle hardened.
Yes, absolutely. And some of the stuff that we see going on today, and there is, the only way through is through.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We love y'all.
Thank you all so much for spending time with us.
Mm-hmm. And I do, even though I don't respond, and I do need to start responding to comments, I still read them.
Yeah. It's just one of those that if somebody takes the time to comment, I'm certainly going to take the time to reply. And over the time, it's like people having, it's like, well, you're just, and it's like, you know what? You're obviously having a really rough day, and I'm sorry you're having a rough day. I will pray for you.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those people, some of them pop up every so often, and it's just like, how are you doing? It didn't matter if like I said, I understand what it is to be the target of somebody else's ugly because they don't have any place else to dump that.
Yeah.
Now, it depends on the situation, but I do understand.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's having the paranormal. Everybody
yep.
is having the supernatural. It's interesting, and it's going to get more interesting.
Yeah.
So, do you want to tell the folks where we can be found?
You can find us on BitChute, Rumble, and YouTube at Orlando's Cup of Coffee with Scream. Also, check her out on X, previously known as Twitter, Orlando COCWS.
Yeah. Know that you are loved.
Mm-hmm. Thank you all for joining us.
You're loved today, tomorrow, the day after that.
Mm-hmm.
You were loved even before that we ever knew that you were. God knew that you were, and you were loved.
Yeah.
Treat other people the way you would like to be treated. And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cup.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.